My goodness, I'm so sorry. It's, you know what it was? It's because I touched my microphone and it's a touch microphone. So nothing like starting off being muted. So I said, Happy Mother's Day to everybody. For some people, Mother's Day is hard for sure, just like the people that are on screen as well. But yeah, so I hit my microphone and I forgot because it's touch it. So it muted it when I touched it. Okay, all's good now. Okay. So I said hello to Gaming and Sleuthing up there. Streamlabs, of course, is in the house. Hi, Miranda. Good evening, beautiful Sunny. Happy Mother's Day to you. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there in the world. Even if you're just a mother of pets, that's all good. Happy Mother's Day to all moms, stepmoms, fur moms, dads that act like moms, just all women. Sunny, you're muted. Okay, that's over now, though. Not muted anymore. Hi, Auntie Ree. Yeah, so you know what? Do me a favor, okay? So in the chat, um, put down if like mother, tell me how many children you have, and put down where you're from in there, if you guys don't mind. Also, put down your favorite flower as well. Do you guys like flowers on Mother's Day? And if so, doesn't matter. Do you like flowers? My favorite um, is daffodils, actually, on there. I like daffodils because when I was a kid at the hospital, it was just daffodils were everywhere. This is when I lived in Chilliwack, but daffodils were just everywhere. And so to see like this, just this pond of basically yellow and white everywhere. So I always remember that as a kid. So that's on, I don't know, yellow, obviously, son, mom of three boys, including twins, which like I said, I'm a twin as well. Uh, we're from Maine, and my favorite flower is hyanthus. Hyanth, hyanth. I don't even know. It's like I hear it lots of times. Hyacinth, I think is how you say it. Hyacinth. So it's not like I'm this big floral person either. Actually, when me and my husband were at Brown's Social for dinner, I right at the end of dinner, the lady gave me a carnation for Mother's Day. Now, to be honest with you, I don't really buy flowers, and I actually prefer that my husband doesn't buy me flowers because the cats are just going to eat them anyway. And so I'd rather have something else than flowers. Like, I'd rather just have something I truly like. So I love flowers, like to look at them because I think they're beautiful. But the cats, they would just sit there and eat them. So, anyways, I gave it to a mother as I was leaving. And I was just said, Here you go. Happy Mother's Day. Now, listen, mother of two, but one is my angel from Indiana. Favorite flower is a carnation. And that's what I was given, was a carnation. But to be honest, I don't like flowers a lot. They die. I know. And I love you. I love you have something that is going to die. I know. Pretty much that's how I look at it myself personally, is that flowers, like I said, either the cats are going to eat them, but they're going to die in a few days anyway. So I don't know. I would just have something like, for instance, honestly, whenever a holiday comes around, like usually my birthday or Mother's Day, I actually just ask my husband to like either maybe paint my toenails or, give me a massage or just something. I would rather have those type of things in a sense out of him. I love double begonias, mother of one daughter, one cat, and one dog. Yeah. Let me just take a look before I say this. Let's see. Did my son message me today? Let's see. Yeah, still looking. Still no. Yeah. I think he's still upset that I didn't give him any money for Christmas or his birthday because it wasn't deserved. So guess that warrants still no happy Mother's Day. So I just told my husband, well, our two cats, those are our girls. So I said to Bambi and Montana, the cats, I'm like, so does daddy, because my husband, he never wanted children, right? Hence why I actually married him, because I was at that age where I'm in my late 40s, mid 40s. So I wasn't about to have any, and he never wanted children. Not that he doesn't like children, but not for himself. Okay. So he's great with kids, just he didn't want any for himself. He can't stand, literally, if we're in a restaurant and he hears kids, though, it drives him crazy. He hates being in noisy places, but especially with kids. But yet he loves kids when he talks to them, just as long as he doesn't have them. So, anyways, so I just said to the girls, meaning the cats, I'm like, so does daddy get treated good on Father's Day too, girls? So, same here, do something for me. Don't get me something I have to clean or pick up just after making, just make me food and clean up the mess for me. Yeah, that's nice. So, again, so anyone that's coming in chat, I just ask that, just say, how many children you have. And happy Mother's Day to the mothers, where you're from and what your favorite flower is. And in just a little bit, I'll be dropping 5 gifts, memberships to people as well here. Um, so, again, I wasn't planning on doing a live. I wasn't even thinking about it really. But then I thought, well, when we got back from the restaurant and then we went over to Fresh Street, grabbed a couple things for, milk and whatever, lunch stuff or whatever. Then I was like, I'm going to think I'm going to do a live, because wishing you guys all happy Mother's Day. And it's so, Suzanne has been a very iconic thing for this channel, of the case that I originally covered right from the get-go. So I got into true crime not because I wanted to, but because I decided to click on the Delphi case. And so I paid attention to that for a couple of weeks, realized it was a really messed up case. And then Suzanne's case happened to come about on Mother's Day of 2020, is when Suzanne Morphew disappeared. I can't believe it's been 4 years for her. Gaylin Rose, that's on this thumbnail as well. So Suzanne Morphew, Gaylin Rose, that's the Flora fire girls, the 4 girls that died in the fire back in November, I believe it was, of 2016. And she lost all her children due to what was deemed as purposeful fire. And so we'll play a little bit of that. I think it was Hoodis that put it in our group chat today, because they put out kind of like this little 4-part series of that, with Gaylin speaking. And then, of course, we have Katie Proudfoot, which is obviously, you guys, no matter how you feel, today is, for me personally, is not the day I'm here to talk ill will of Katie Proudfoot. You guys can say whatever you like in chat. For me personally, it's just one of those days. This is Mother's Day. There's nothing to say that Katie Proudfoot had anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian. So again, obviously, to mothers that, in her case, Sebastian is missing. We don't know if he's alive or not. And to all the mothers out there that like gaming and sleuthing, and Robin, who was on here yesterday too, to anyone that's lost a child that's in heaven. My mom, she's in heaven. So my mom she's got the dog in her hand in this thumbnail. And then she's also beside Katie. My mom's in heaven. She died in 2015. Her name was Gloria Blanchard. And so, yes, so celebrating, like I said, all us mothers out there in the world. And that I would die. Well, exactly. Right? Imagine losing all 4 children, all 4 of your girls in a fire. Exactly. Anyways, hi, Sharon Parker. How are you? And then Sharon Park again, and Miranda Lee. So again, it's just for anyone coming in, happy Mother's Day. Well, we'll talk about Suzanne Morphew. I'll talk about my mother first, I think, and then we'll get into the other people, and you guys can say whatever you want in chat about your moms, whatever you want to say. It's Mother's Day. Feel free to say whatever you want, and I can put it up in front and read it. And then I'll drop, like I said, in just a little bit here, I'll drop 5 memberships. So and happy, like I said, Mother's Day to Deb, Charmaine, let's see here. Well, all of you guys, of course, that are in chat here, Sharon. But Charmaine and Deb are two people that obviously Charmaine comes on here a lot, and Deb used to be on this channel as well. She, like I said, she's into Delphi and she has her own channel and stuff like that. But I want to make sure that they hear me. And who dis? Wait, does who dis have children? Who dis? I don't think you do. Do you? Do you? I don't think so. I can't remember. But anyways, you guys. Um, so my mom, again, her name is Gloria Blanchard. So just to give you a brief, well, maybe not so brief, but anyways, so my dad had 4 children before he met my mom, Timmy, Randy, Billy, and Ricky. Okay. So those are my 4 half brothers. And then my mom was with my dad, whose name was William Brown and Bill Brown. And so, hence Billy. So Billy is the oldest in the brother category. Then I can't remember the exact order anymore. And then anyway, so my mom met my dad, Bill Brown, and she was with him till I was 5 years old, I remember. And she had 4 of us, which is Paula, my brother Kenny, my twin sister Tanya. And again, if anyone doesn't know my real name off of my nickname that my mom gave me, my real name is Sonia. Hence, my mom would call me Sunny. So Sun, Sunny. I always turned to Sunny or Sunshine, but usually Sunny. And my brother would always call me that as well, my brother Kenny. So there's 8 of us. And my older sister and my brother have had more relationships as they've been older with my brothers. I have lived away half my life in Alberta. So I've seen them on and off throughout the years and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so my mom was with my real dad, like I said, Bill Brown, until I was about 5 years old. He was quite a bit older than my mom. I know that. And I like 10 years or something. Then we basically lived in Delta here in Vancouver, the area, lived in Delta. My mom left him because he was just a big loser. We owned 2 toy stores in Gastown and Blood Alley in Vancouver. And he just always just spent the money. But I'll tell you, as a kid, we got a ton of toys. I'll tell you that much. And anyways, so she left him. She met my stepdad, John, when we were about 7 or 8 years old. She ended up marrying him. We moved to Calgary after a couple years and stayed there till I was 15. My mom and John had split up. My mom, and he got in a bad car accident, so they stayed together, so he could heal and stuff like that. But anyways, they split up and then they got back together. My mom moved back down to Vancouver here. And yeah, and then so she was with John, but I was living away still in Alberta because I was a rebel and ran away when I was like 16 years old, hopped on a bus. That's when I was with Dion for 11 years. But anyways, and then at some point she met Bruce, and Bruce was like, I guess, another stepdad, and she was with him for like over 20 something years, like 25 years. And so my mom died in 2015 of cancer. She had stage 4 when she died, or when she was told. First they said she didn't have cancer. Then they said, first they said she had cancer. Then they said she didn't. Then they said she did. And then when they told her, it was stage 4 and it was in her stomach and they couldn't operate. So it was just a matter of maintaining her life. They said 5 years. She lived about 2.5. So whenever they tell you that, always cut it in half. Whenever a doctor says you're going to live this long, typically you cut that time in half. And then Bruce, my mom, like I said, my second stepdad, I guess, he died about 1.5 years after my mom. He was an alcoholic. While he was with my mom, he was always hiding booze, and then he quit for a while. But when my mom died, he went back to drinking. He just loved my mom a lot and missed her. And, honestly, if he thought anyone was going to die first, it was Bruce. He actually even had flesh-eating disease at some point. But he was like a skinny rail, like 6 foot something, but he was just like a skin and bones. But anyways, so he died. So yeah, that sucks. So my husband never got to meet my mom. I met my husband on Skype from England when we were gaming back in like the beginning of 2015. So my mom died February 15th and her birthday was on March 15th. So it just came. And then today, of course, is Mother's Day. So that's really the gist of, my family and dynamics there. Um, Usually, if you guys hear me say Satan, I refer to that as my older sister, Paula. But today I'll try to be nice with that one. Happy Mother's Day, Paula, Tanya, everybody that's still alive and living. Um, let's see. My mom passed away, and that comforts me that my son is with her. I knew he was going to pass the minute Nick told me. I see Gamma. Is that his grandma on there? Thank you, Sleuthing, uh, which is Melissa. And my parents passed 2 months apart. Sure do miss them. I bet. Do you guys remember? I always forget their names. Remember the mom, the actress that died, and the mom was an actress too, and then she died like literally the next day. It's like they said that she willed herself to death. Hello, Mike. Happy Mother's Day, he says. Thank you very much, Lee. Mike was on here yesterday with Melissa and Charmaine and Robin on there. So thank you again for that. Gaming and sleuthing, that's close to Indy. You should visit Upper Michigan or the lakes. Yeah, I only ever been to Newfoundland just by plane. Other than going to Saskatchewan, I haven't seen any other part of Canada. I've been down to Disneyland a couple times. And Seattle. That's pretty much about it. Washington, just over the border there. Blaine. Michelle Lee, I hope friends of mine that own a carnival company, they pay in Niles. I don't know. I'm not sure what Niles are. Besides, I can't help but think of the River of the Niles. Again, okay. And you know what? Let me just quickly. I'm just gonna drop 5. I'm just gonna do this right now. Just gonna drop 5 memberships. Let me just find my thing here. So whoever gets those, congratulations. On there, let me just actually see who gets those. Okay, so Gaming and Sleuthing got one. Sharon Parker, Shelby, Sweet Dude Libby, and Crafty One. We're all gifted memberships on there. So congratulations to that. There you guys go. Every month, YouTube gives us 10. I really like it when YouTube does stuff, that helps the channels and stuff like that. And they a few months, like at the beginning of the year, they basically give this song plays. Now we're going to hear that 4 more times, which is fine with me. That's the Rick roll. Whenever somebody's gifted a membership, a song plays because I have my Streamlabs links to a song, like a little clip, so that it plays different things for memberships, for subscriptions, and donations. Okay, so that's hence why you hear songs, but. 3 more times. Anyways, so congratulations to you guys. So you guys, you guys can use the emotes. And when somebody has a membership, just so you know, and that doesn't mean this channel, but any channel, you don't have a slow mode, okay? Because a lot of times channels will go into slow mode a lot because they want to try to keep up with chat. I think 2 more times. But anyways, so just if you didn't know that, channels, they don't do it for the sake of trying to piss people off. It's just because we have to try to see what people are saying. But if there's not a lot of people in here, then it, like I'll probably turn it off soon, depending. It's only like 38 people here. And let me see, are they all in the channel? No, 6. Well, okay, so how many of you guys are blind and didn't notice that I colored my hair today? Like, how many of you are blind? I just want to know. Put your hands up. Because I was expecting someone to say, "Oh, Sunny, I like your hair like that, the color." Uh, even my husband knew I was doing it and didn't say shit. I was like, honey, never said anything. Oh. I think that was the last one, wasn't it? Okay, sorry. Apparently, you guys are just all blind. Fine. Don't worry. I'll remember it. Oh, I noticed it looked nice. It sounds like my husband. It's like I didn't say anything, but I noticed it. Hey, Bogey. Hey, Bogey, just by the way, I was not home, but I see that you had emailed me. So I'll email you back later. Okie dokie. On there. So again, happy Mother's Day to everyone. Anyone that is coming in, basically, I asked you how many children you have, where you're from, and what your favorite flower was. Okay. So go on, Miranda. Go on, Miranda. She knows. She knows I pay her to say that stuff. Um, normally I don't even fish for compliments, but I was going, I'm amazed that not one person has said anything yet. I was opting between, okay, this is mahogany. I was opting between this one or like a darker purple black color. I have both boxes. I was just going eeny, meeny, miny, mo on there. So okay. So again, if you guys want to do that, feel free to. If you don't, it's okay too. Either way, happy Mother's Day. Even if you're a mother of pets, I guess fur babies or whatever. So again, on the screen we have Suzanne Morphew, the case of Suzanne Morphew. Suzanne Morphew went missing in 2020. Um, and again, her body was recovered finally in 2023. We're gonna watch just a clip on that from Court TV. Barry Morphew was charged, and then they had to let those charges go in order to charge him, hopefully, for another day. Anyone that knows anything about the Suzanne Morphew case will probably concur that although he's not been convicted, Barry Morphew, let me just put it this way because I don't care about this one. Barry Morphew, absolute narcissistic man. If I ever did see one, well, there's quite a few out there actually, but um, I think it's pretty clear that Barry Morphew took his wife's life. Although he hasn't been charged, justice for Suzanne, I'm sure, will come. And hence, remember her. So her remains were finally found, and then they did the autopsy. And then, of course, we all know that people that are following the case know that what are they, tranquilizer cap was found in the dryer. And of course, Barry Morphew said that he was, what was it, chipmunks, chasing around chipmunks around the house as his phone was just pinging all over that day, right? And stuff like that. Um, so, two kids, NC. I'm going to take that means North Carolina, right? But I had three. Yeah. There's Charmaine. Hey, girl. Hey, what you doing, Charmaine? On there. Charmaine, you want to come up here with me or you want to stay down there? It's totally up to you. Thought about you today, but I didn't want to bug you either on there. Um, so we'll watch a clip of that with Suzanne Morphew. How many of you here know about the Suzanne Morphew case? Pretty much, do all of you guys know about it? Just hit 2 if you don't. If you don't know about it, just hit 2. That means the rest of you know about it, probably. Do. I think this is the clip. Do. Yuck. Barry Morphew, yuck. So this, I'm not going to, so this clip we're going to play in a second. If anyone knows the Suzanne Morphew case, okay? So just going back to the gist of Suzanne Morphew, it was Mother's Day, May 10th of 2020, that Barry Morphew was away working in Broomfield. The 2 daughters, Lacey and Macy, were camping, and they were coming back home like on Mother's Day. So Suzanne was by herself on Mother's Day, and mysteriously, Suzanne, a bike is found near the home of the Morphews, just down the road a bit, up near whatever that one road is called. I don't know. Can't remember. It's been too long. Anyways, so, Suzanne's this bike ride, Suzanne mysteriously took, right? And anyways, crock of crap. Suzanne never went on a bike ride. Suzanne's life was taken by that man right there. And so when he does this plea video, I remember when it came out, which was, I don't know, it's a week after, he wouldn't talk to any of the news stations. Okay. Remember how we talk about, people talking to the news stations, and some of them, like Christopher, what's his name? Watts there, Christopher Watts, they just cross their arms and like, just want her to come home, just let me just smile. I just want her to come home, and you're just sitting there going, are you kidding me? Because it's a joke to me, like Barry Morphew in this video, oh, Suzanne, we just want you back so bad. Let me see if I can, and it's just a joke. I'm going to watch for my pillow tonight. All right, fine. Hi, Half Pint. All right. Hi, Christine. Yeah. So basically that was really the story, that Suzanne went on this bike ride. She just disappeared on Mother's Day. And as soon as you even heard the story, you're like, what a crock of crap. This mother did not just disappear on Mother's Day, and the daughters are gone, the husband's gone, and whoops, her bike is just found right near the home. Anyways, we'll play this clip out, and you guys that don't know can maybe get a little bit from this. Okay.
That has you.
Right here. Let me play it.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please, we'll do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you. We miss you. Your girls need you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Now for what's trending in true crime, autopsy results have determined a Colorado mom was killed and drugged after her Mother's Day disappearance. Monday, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation released this statement on their results that the autopsy report of Suzanne Morphew is now complete and determined her death to be homicide by undetermined means. We understand that it was done using tranquilizer drugs. The 49-year-old vanished after a bike ride back in May of 2020. Her remains found nearly 3 years later. Her husband, Barry, initially charged. Charges were dropped in 2022 when investigators were getting closer to finding Suzanne's remains. And so our question this morning, is Barry Morphew going to be charged again? We got a great power panel standing by. We've got the state attorney in Palm Beach County, Florida, and he's hosting a brand new show. It is the True Crime MTN podcast, Dave Ehrenberg. We've also got with us forensic death investigator, professor at Jacksonville State University, and the host of the Body Bags podcast, Joseph Scott Morgan, and criminal defense attorney and the host of the Defense Diaries podcast, Bob Mata. Great to see you all this morning. Oh boy, I keep thinking back, I know you all are, to that cap from a tranquilizer dart found in the bed sheets, in the dryer at Barry Morphew's home. And he said, oh, I had just shot an animal, disposed of the solution, blah, blah, blah. Is this key for prosecutors now knowing that tranquilizer solution, what was found in Suzanne Morphew's bones? Dave Ehrenberg, would you start us off, please?
Yes, so much for the lawsuit that he filed against prosecutors, right, for wrongful prosecution. And now you have some real evidence. This is why the prosecutors wanted to drop the charge at the time, because once you charge, you got the speedy trial clock running, and now the wait is over. They've got the body, and who uses tranquilizers? Well, the husband has admitted that that's what he does to hunt, even though wildlife officials say, you don't really use tranquilizers to hunt because the animal will come back and eat you. It's usually used by wildlife officials only. So you have a guy who said he uses tranquilizer darts when hunting, and that's the evidence now that we have found that was related to.
Thank you for that. And speaking of, animals eating people, I think we all remember that mountain lion comment that Barry Morphew made. Let's take a look back at that.
And just a confirmation, you left this morning at 5. Okay. And she told you she was going to go bike riding?
She bikes every day, yeah.
Okay.
She's going to bike when she gets up.
So she was asleep in the bed when you left. Did you say bye to her or anything?
No, she's not asleep.
Okay.
Always leave her.
So the last time you probably actually saw her was this morning. That was it, right?
Yeah, I've been here. I got a big job up there. I've been there all day. Is it a crash?
I mean, the bike looked, the way it was laying, it kind of looked like it, but there's not really that much damage to the bike. That's the thing.
Lion?
Yeah, it was just
Was there no lion?
I didn't see anything that would indicate.
Yeah, apparently, according to the state here, Joseph Scott Morgan, would you weigh in, please, on these drugs used and your thoughts on how this may change the case?
Well, it certainly puts it in a new light, Julie. From what we know, remember that cap was recovered at the home in the dryer that is associated with this trank gun. And isn't it fascinating that they were able to extract these this compound from actually the head of her femur that they recovered at the scene. But again, juxtaposition to the trial of O'Keefe, we don't have a manner there. We have a manner here, homicide, but we don't have a cause. They're merely saying that those drugs were there. What's fascinating about this is the fact that in the grave, they have now stated that they found adjacent a weathered projectile. I want to know what the caliber of the projectile is. There's no soft tissue. I know that. So you can't appreciate hemorrhage were any of the bones fractured, and were those fractures related to gunfire? We haven't heard that as well. We don't have the anthropology report yet. We've only got a 4-page autopsy report. So let's see where this goes, but it's certainly compelling.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're going to talk more about that weathered bullet in just a moment. Thank you for that, Professor Joe. Last but not least, Attorney Bob Mata, good to see you on the show. Tell us your thoughts on this, please, and what it may mean for new charges against Mr. Morphew.
Well, there's clearly at least the metaphorical smoking gun at this point. So they've at least been able to kind of substantiate their theory with respect to the tranquilizer. Now that they found the substances in her actual DNA or their bloodstream during the testing. So I think they need more. I really do. I think, remember, one of the reasons that this case went away the first time is the state wasn't turning over evidence, which included DNA from an individual who was known to have been committing sexual assaults in the area in the vehicle. So, I mean, you have to look, when you're the state, you know, they're in the business of not losing. So I think that they're going to need more than just this kind of this connection here. I think they're going to need to show like kind of a motive, you know, like even though we don't need to prove it, you know, we want to know why would he have done this? You know, was there something else going on? So I'm assuming the state is feverishly working to build its case. They now at least feel like they have a solid foundation, and from here we'll see what else they can get in terms of moving forward on a case against him.
Right. Bob, thank you for all of that. Yeah, and I like what you're saying there about motive. And I wonder if perhaps it's going to go back to their relationship at the time and turmoil there. And let's also talk about the weathered bullet a little more. Professor Joe, I'm glad that you brought this up. Way back when, Barry Morphew accused investigators of not testing that bullet for DNA evidence. And he was saying, that could have been key to solving this case. Your thoughts on that? Could it be key to the case?
Well, I suppose it could, particularly if they find any weapons in his home or in his possession that might marry up with rifling that is left behind on the surface as striations left behind on that projectile. And not just him, but any other weapons that might be in the system. Remember, when these bullets are examined, they go into the ATF database, which is staggeringly robust. And so any weapon that could have been used in the commission of a homicide in the past is going to be in there if they've recovered projectile. So that's going to be key. Again, they haven't said anything about trauma related to a gunshot wound, and be honest with you, Julie, you don't have much to work with at this point as far as a body goes.
Another great point. Yeah, her remains obviously have deteriorated considerably from the time that she went missing. Final point here, Bob Mott, I want to go back to you, please. In terms of how concerned Barry Morphew ought to be this morning with these autopsy results being released, what are your thoughts on that?
I'd be concerned. You know, I mean, we know that the state likes him for it. It does not help that they've been able to make this connection with what they believed was a theory that they were moving forward to the point where they're on the eve of trial. So if I'm Barry Morphew, I am not sleeping well at all. I'm extremely concerned. I'm on the phone with my lawyer and saying, you know, what are the odds that they're coming after me again? He's got to be feeling great discomfort, I would imagine.
So just quickly here, I'll just stop screen for a second, actually. I'm just going to play this. This was from 2022. So I'm just going to do this quickly. Let's see here. It's just a little video I had made for Suzanne. Just play that quickly. Okay, so that was, again, I did that one in, I'll just put it back on our picture there. Let's see here. So anyone that has followed this case knew that Suzanne, she had this just beautiful aura. You could just feel it, sense it. And yeah, so this case is the one that, you know, I was following very strongly for 2.5 years. And like eating, living, breathing this case. It was because I knew about it right from the start. And it just, I think it resonated with me because I always felt right from the beginning that this was like the husband. And it was because, again, if you've been in similar kind of relationships with a controlling individual and stuff like that. So I always felt it was a little bit parallel. In a sense of what happened to Suzanne. Now there was some definite things that came out in the case, you know, with her, of course, having an affair and a spy pen. And this to me is where, like I said, Barry Morphew's plea video was just, it made me so angry because just, again, anyone that's got any sort of intuition whatsoever, you could just smell a rat, smell a liar. And, you know that he was that type of personality that basically he knew about this affair, whether he's going to deny that till he's blue in the face. He knew about the affair, you know, and like I said, that Suzanne had like the spy pen and he was actually listening to true crime. And he was also listening to a very similar case. I remember they were said about a missing bike. And yeah, I had actually did quite a few videos for Suzanne. Some of them at the time, because I didn't monetize till I was at like 2.5K viewers when I didn't even understand what monetization even was. Anyway, so some of my videos that I did, I would put them to songs that would be copyrighted now. So I had to like take those ones down. Before you monetize, you kind of have to take away your copyrighted stuff and that. So I'd take it down, but you know, So anyways, so I'd made, especially at Christmas time, those things would take me weeks. I had not a Mother's Day one that was about 10 minutes long. Like I said, they would literally take me weeks to make and stuff like that, just because her case meant so much and to see justice come her way. So I do hope at some point with Suzanne that the justice will come. Um, to me, she's in a beautiful place. But the case is it's just very heart wrenching, right? She had cancer. She had an appointment. The Monday following Mother's Day, for her, like this cancer appointment that she had. And again, she never made it because she went missing on a bike where perhaps a mountain liar, like that. It probably came up because I was thinking of Barry when I said that. A mountain lion, right? And like I said, so I just pray that with the perhaps, newfound information, that because of the tranquilizer cap that was found in the dryer and with the tranquilizer information and stuff like that. I mean, just honestly, right? What are the chances that Suzanne is found that with basically tranquilizer stuff inside of her, the three different whatever names are, and then it just happens to be that there's a tranquilizer cap in the dryer, along with everything else with Barry Morphew. So hopefully, again, yeah, and again, for anyone that is coming in tonight, I already gifted the 5 memberships, by the way. So congratulations to those people that got that. Again, just for anyone coming in, asking you where you're from, how many children you have, or fur babies, whichever, and what your favorite flower is. For me, mine again is a daffodil. I always loved daffodils, just white and yellow. From when I was a child, the hospital just had tons. Oh, which reminds me, I just want to. Did you guys in the States? I want to ask you as well. How many of you guys seen those beautiful Boreala lights? I see my niece posted this the other night, or 16 hours ago. Did any of you guys as well see the Northern Lights on there? Just beautiful, isn't it? Just absolutely beautiful. Hi, Shelly. How are you? Um, Beautiful video in honor of Suzanne. All of Barry's theories are proven lies. Justice for Suzanne. Absolutely. Nice, Sunny. Just gotten time to see the video tribute. Thank you. Yeah, beautiful smile. Beautiful smile. Yes, it took the autopsy results a long time to come back. I forget when her remains were found. I want to say it was September of 2023. I want to say it was then that they were found. I'm just glad finally, because sometimes when you're like following a case like for instance Elijah Vu, Harmony Montgomery, Suzanne Morphew, you know, you just wish and pray, Karina McClurkin, you just wish and pray that at least if their bodies are found, doesn't mean that they're not resting in a beautiful place up in heaven. It just means that, you know, to the people that are still on earth, to bring closure to the families. Because to me, again, the most hurtful pain anyone can feel, you know, not taking away from anyone that basically, you know, like Abby and Libby were found, they were murdered, which is horrific. But tell those parents out there or family members that have a loved one like Sebastian Rogers that you don't have an answer, you don't have a clue. Some people don't know whether the person that they love is alive or dead, or where their remains are, like in Suzanne Morphew's case. So I'm so glad that Suzanne Morphew's remains were found. Everyone knew that she was no longer with us, and it was just a matter of where her remains are, just like Harmony Montgomery. And we all know that Adam Montgomery was sentenced the other day. And, you know, sadly, he won't, of course, fess up, because in his brain, he knows he did exactly what he did to his daughter, you know, but selfish, you know, again, narcissistic, whatever, just, you know, refuses to say anything, right? And they basically tried to say with that in Montgomery, like, look, we'll give you 35 years. That's it. If you just tell us where Harmony is. Nope. Instead he got the 45 years plus the other years consecutive, not even concurrent, right? Great. Happy Mother's Day to everyone, of course. Daffodils are so cheerful. Like, I don't even know how to say that word. We'll just call them daisies. Daisies are beautiful as well, yellow and white. We have the most amazing colored sunset in Mississippi Friday, all purple and peach. Right, absolutely. Because there was whatever it was, a solar storm or whatever it was. Anyways, so hopefully a lot of people got to experience the beautiful, northern lights that don't normally see northern lights. It's just like a work of art in the sky, isn't it? Actually, my niece had another picture I saw that she had put up as well. This is obviously at a tulip farm. So I just thought I'd share that because it looks so pretty, just to stare at it. Tulips are beautiful flowers as well. Tiptoe through the tulips, eh? Co-conspirator, you could see it better than we could. Here in Indiana, we had much cloud and coverage here. That sucks. My dad and brothers live outside of Hernando. I'm going to assume, just because I'm Canadian, I think MS is Mississippi. Does MS shortcut for Mississippi there? On there. Okay. Let's see here. So, let me just quickly. Okay. We'll show this quickly. We'll stop screen just before we move on. So, of course, happy Mother's Day to beautiful Suzanne Morphew. Yeah, Mississippi. Okay. Oh, yeah, you got one there, didn't you, Crafty? On there. Yeah. So, again, for anyone that doesn't know, when you do have that, you can obviously use the emoticons, but you don't have to deal with the slow mode. That just goes for any channel that you're in, just so you know that. Because some people find it irritating, but when you're the creator, it's not irritating that when we do that. Right now, like I could probably turn it off right now, to be honest, because there's not enough people in here to worry about it. So let me just quickly do that. I'll turn it off right now on there. It's just it stops people from spamming. Some people have those little keyboards where they just say something, hit enter, say something, hit enter. They can't complete a sentence. They just kind of hit enter. There's some of those people. I'm bad sometimes for doing that myself. It's like you say one thing, hit enter, say something else, hit enter on there. So again, rest in peace, Suzanne Morphew. Happy Mother's Day. And again, justice for Suzanne Morphew in Plainfield outside of Indy. Yeah. So let's see here. So the next one, I guess we'll talk about, I think we'll do Gaylin. We'll do her. And okay, so again, back in 2016, I believe it was November, Gaylin, she lost all her 4 daughters, and Houdis had put in a thing that had come out a few days ago. Again, just horrific to a mother to have lost all her children. It was a fire. At first, it was deemed as like, accidental at first, but that was wrong. There was an accelerant that was said. So basically, well, there's a few things that they're looking at with that because basically, I think it was someone heirs that owned the home. Like in smaller towns, you hear of certain names all the time. But anyway, so a couple months prior to the house catching on fire, the person that owned that property had like $393,000 or something, in home insurance on it. The home was only worth $45,000, the home in Flora, and then a couple months after that, now I think Becky Patty was the one that actually did the like estimation of the value of the home. But anyways, 2 months later, the house catches on fire. The fire alarm doesn't work. Gaylin's downstairs, and the 4 girls are upstairs. And when she wakes up, you know, it's too thick of smoke, and she can't get to her girls, you know. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to all moms. Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Just keep saying that throughout the live. Again, happy Mother's Day. So in saying that, like I said, we'll have to deal with a couple commercials on this one because it's not a YouTube thing. But we'll watch a little bit for anyone that doesn't know about the Flora fires on there. So let's see here. Okay.
Swinging the savings with
We still have to deal with
Great Golf Club card.
Each card gets you a round of golf at 23 premier Central Indiana courses. Save over 75% off regular rates for the 2024 golf season. Visit wishtv.com/sports to get your Great Golf Club membership. Brought to you by Circulus Digital Media.
Welcome back. Tonight, we are taking a dive into a story some of you may not know about. Close to 8 years ago, in November 2016, a fire in Flora, it tore through a 2-story duplex and left 4 girls dead. They were all young. None of the girls were older than 11 years old. Their mother, she was able to escape. Officials then deemed it an arson. Over the next few nights here, we're going to take you through new developments that we've uncovered. But are investigators any closer to bringing the case to a close is a question we're asking. Here now, our first part in our series, a retelling of that horrible night. It all started here at the intersection of East Columbia and South Division Streets in Flora, Indiana. Now, an empty lot sits as a reminder of it all. The 2-story duplex was home to Gaylin Rose and her 4 girls living on one side and another woman living on the other. Rose had moved in the summer of 2016 with her girls, 11-year-old Kiana Davis, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips, 7-year-old Carrie O. McDonald, and the youngest, 5-year-old Keone Welch.
The girls were so playful, sweet. They would do anything for anybody. They were very loving.
She was starting a new life after moving to Flora, Indiana, a place people considered a quiet Carroll County community. The unit was rented for $500 a month. It was comfortable. It was home. Things settled and the girls started school. They even took up cheerleading. Gaylin, too, found her routine, a job working as a clerk at a town gas station. Rose recalls that Sunday night. She had just put the girls to bed. She retired to her bedroom downstairs, eventually falling asleep. The shock of what happened next awakened the town.
It was so chaotic. I mean, you hear yelling and screaming.
Smoke and flames had filled the home and reached the top floor. That's where the girl's bedroom was located.
I heard the mother calling for her children and the children hollering back.
Rose, asleep at the time, got up and leapt from her bed and into action. Intense heat engulfed that unit. She tried going up the stairs in a desperate attempt to get to those girls. The smoke and the flames, too much for her, and made that attempt futile. Able to go no further, she ran outside for help. Arriving crews found the home ablaze. According to documents, Rose had to be intubated by EMS and then transported to the Eskenazi Burn Center.
And for my daughter to say, Dad, I tried to get him, but Daddy was just too much smoke.
Documents also share she suffered burns on her body and damage to her eyes as her corneas were burned. She spent days there, learning eventually that her girls did not make it.
It is just so hard. It's so hard.
The investigation gets underway, and eventually officials conclude it was a case of arson. Questions were being asked, and the search for answers started, continuing over time.
I just don't see how anybody could even think about doing something like that.
And I hope one day I can look into the eyes of the person who killed 4 little girls and then explain to you what we knew and when.
As I continue to teach my daughter, you gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep fighting.
Who had done it and why? There are many pieces in the investigation of the girls' deaths. There are lots of twists and turns and resignations that are going to bring about various questions. She's not spoken about this in a pretty long time, but Gaylin Rose, the girl's mother, agreed to sit down with News 8.
That is very heartbreaking for me. I don't have no understanding to it. I still don't.
And this isn't it. There is a lot more to the story. In the next few days, you're going to hear much of it from Gaylin Rose.
1 second here, because I think I have to go to number, let's see here. I think this should be part 1. Or is that the one we just watched? That's the one we just watched, isn't it? No, we don't want to watch another commercial. Part 2. Just give it a sec. 1 sec, guys.
Well, the I-Teammates investigation into the Flora fire and a chase for answers. Tonight, for the first time in years, Gaylin Rose, the mother of those 4 girls who died in that fire, she sits down with I-Teammate. No topic off limits during an interview that often became very emotional. We start now with the questions that she sought answers to for years. How she made it out of the fire, but her girls did not.
You wasn't there. You didn't experience what I experienced. They don't understand the real love that we had for each other as mother and daughter and everything. My life will never be the same.
Are you angry?
I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm more hurt than anything. I'm more hurt than anything because my family was wiped away right in front of my eyes.
Deeply painful memories as Gaylin Rose.
It was too much for me. It was too much.
Whose 4 girls died in what investigators deemed an arson takes us back to the last weekend her 4 girls lived. 11-year-old Kiana Davis, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips, 7-year-old Carrie McDonald, and the youngest, 5-year-old Keone Welch, all killed in this 2-story duplex in 2016. The only place they live now is in Rose's memory.
Do you remember those moments and what was it like?
I think I talked to my grandma before I went to sleep. Out of nowhere, something just told me to get up. Rolled out of the bed, and then it's like when I hit the corner, that was it. It was like I am standing in front, I'm in a house, but my house is on fire. So I tried to get to the steps to go up to get the girls, and I couldn't breathe, couldn't talk, I couldn't say anything. That's how bad the smoke was. All I remember is the ambulance coming, and they put me in the ambulance, and I literally was like, my babies. I wouldn't stop saying my babies.
Medical records show Rose was transported to a local hospital. Her injuries placed her in a burn unit, her skin singed, smoke in her throat, and intubated. For months afterward, nightmarish reminders of what happened in Flora caused her to move from Indiana. Years later, she returned to the Midwest.
Right now, we're in Jefferson City, Missouri, here where it all began. This is where the girls were born, or in cities not too far from here. This is where Gaylin Rose has settled after spending some time in California after the girls' deaths, because it's here where she's close to family, but far enough away from the painful memories of Flora.
They all had different personalities. Kiana was more, book smart, as far as like she wanted to go to school, she wanted to be outside. Kiara, she was more homebody, stay in the house. All of them didn't listen. None of them listened. Sometimes they listened, sometimes they didn't.
This is the first time she's opened up in years. Jefferson City, Missouri, a small town on the Missouri River where the state capitol looms large over Main Street, bustling on a cold winter afternoon. It's where here her girls went to preschool, then elementary school, and here where they were born. Those early years added up, becoming critical as Rose learned to be a mom and they all learned to be a family. It wasn't here, however, that she says she discovered prejudice.
Why did you decide to make the change?
We decided to make the change just because I wanted to go and be somewhere different. It was totally different than Jefferson City. I worked in the Marathon, the gas station. Every day I would have a gentleman come in there and throw change at me because he wanted coffee. Yeah, it was, like I said, the energy shifted, a very big difference in that town.
6 months after moving into the two-story duplex, it went up in flames. In arson. Investigators searched for the person who did it.
What do you think about how they've handled the investigation?
I just feel like they were moving too fast to just jump to their own conclusions without stopping and thinking.
Why do you think they'd want to jump to a conclusion?
I'm Black, to be honest with you.
That, Rose says, led attention to shift when 3 months later, not far in Delphi, Abby Williams and Libby German, 2 white girls, went missing before eventually being found murdered. That's when, according to Rose, the frantic press coverage, law enforcement resources, and all attention shifted away from her girls, and solving that case went to the hunt for Abby and Libby's murderer.
Do you think if you were white and this was 4 white girls who had died in the fire, do you think the investigation would have been conducted differently?
Of course, yes. They would have took more time into it. They wouldn't have just did a little investigation and then boom, up, it was this. And like, it was so fast, within 3 to 6 months, they had all the answers. I just don't believe it.
Okay, so now we'll go on to number 3, part 3. Come on, where's number 3? Do we get a
Swing into savings with the
commercial first?
Great Golf Club card.
Each card gets you a round of golf at 23 premier Central Indiana courses. Save over 75% off regular rates for the 2024 golf season. Visit wishtv.com/sports to get your great golf club membership. Brought to you by Circulus Digital Media.
Having a bad day, I always think of them, and I live life with.
Let's put that back.
For fire and the chase for answers, we've heard from Gaylin Rose, the first interview that she's given in years, but tonight we show you how the community in Flora continues to mourn the sudden and tragic loss suffered, along with the hole it leaves in the lives of some who knew the 4 girls.
Perhaps of anyone in Gaylin Rose's life, the person who knows her best is Kathy Clendenning, a friend who has known her since the earliest days of her move to Indiana.
I know for her, every Monday for the past 7 years, she wakes up and it's the worst day of her life.
She is referring to that Monday in November 2016 when the 2-story duplex Rose lived in with her daughters went up in flames. The case was labeled an arson by investigators. 11-year-old Kiana Davis, 9-year-old Kiara Phillips, 7-year-old Carrie McDonald, and 5-year-old Keone Welch died in that fire. A coroner's report shows they struggled to breathe until the final moments of their short lives.
People just don't understand what happened that night unless you were there. She was a proud mother every moment in their life.
Was there a change in her character and the person that she was day to day after the fire?
When they were taken away, she just was gone. Like, her joy was gone.
Flora, Indiana, where that fire happened, a town of just 2,100 people, small enough that here many know the details of that night. The girls had attended school at nearby Carroll Elementary, a community deeply affected by the girls' deaths too.
It was just surreal. Like, it didn't make sense that it happened.
Since that fire, the house stood here in Flora, Indiana at the intersection of Columbia and Division for 7 years. Its charred remains as a reminder of what took place to everyone passing by. It wasn't torn down until a federal judge issued a written order. Now it's an empty lot.
But it was just another step in to be able to help with the healing. Really, to be able to drive by it every day was like, ripping off that scab again.
I hope I don't sound callous in this question, but was it almost a relief when it came down?
I mean, buses were going by the situation. So you have to explain to all these kids, 600 kids, what's going on.
And Jen Bropes was Carroll Elementary's librarian.
The library turned into the counseling center, basically.
That is where we spoke to her about what happened years ago. We got a glimpse inside the school. We were shown the hallways the girls walked and the very classrooms where they sat.
Do you remember what you felt?
You don't get taught how to deal with that kind of thing.
It is outside the library doors into the school's courtyard that you see something special. It is a collection of benches, each with a name across it, a different one for each of the 4 girls. We talked with Bropes' daughter Liz in the courtyard. She and her troop of Girl Scouts created the benches to serve as memorials. They collected thousands of bottle caps from people all over Carroll County and shipped them to a company to be melted down. They came back as these. Liz and the girls had shared a special relationship.
Especially Keone, like she was always my little buddy, especially at lunch. At least every single day before lunch, she would always give me a little hug. And I would just tell her to have an amazing day. I mean, she was an amazing little girl and she was just so full of sunshine and just bliss, so.
Who came up with the idea of the benches?
Honestly, I think it was all of us together. I just don't want them to be forgotten.
And amid their peers, their spirits aren't. The oldest, Kiana, she would have graduated high school with Liz last year.
We had a dedication seat for her at graduation because she should have been there.
How did the fire affect you and the girls?
Thinking about them now, like in this courtyard, I mean, it just makes me happy, like that they're here. Like I feel them here and I feel that they're happy and I hope that they're at peace.
What is it about the girls that touches you so much?
We say live life like the 4 girls. So they were always so sunshine. They were always happy. They were always just like ready for the day. So if I am ever having a bad day, I always think of them and I live life for them. Like I'm going to college and wanting to like better my life for Kiana because she didn't have that chance.
And right.
Do last one here, guys. Number 4.
Swinging the savings
And
with
another
the
card.
Great Golf Club card.
Each card gets you a round of golf at 23 premier Central Indiana courses. Save over 75% off regular rates for the 2024 golf season. Visit wishtv.com/sports to get your Great Golf Club membership. Brought to you by Circulus Digital Media.
We're going to turn now to I-Team 8's investigation into the Flora fire that took the lives of 4 girls and the chase for answers we've been following. Tonight is our final installment. There are new reactions and newly uncovered details that paint a picture of the arson case, those involved, and the investigation, all of it in ways that have never been reported before.
My story has not changed.
Gaylin Rose talking with I-Team 8, the first interview she's done in years.
That town and that house took my kids away.
Sharing with us her questions about the night that her girls died in a house fire in Flora.
I went from hearing them to not hearing.
It was eventually ruled an arson, and now she is asking pointed questions, wanting to know if the deaths had to happen.
They're just out of the blue. They were here and then they're gone, and I just don't have no understanding to it.
In the aftermath of the fire and in its burned out remains, investigators discovered a smoke detector that they say had not been functioning correctly. Rose is asking if her girls could have made it out alive if that smoke detector had been working. Did potential conflicts of interest get in the way of the investigation? Did small town politics play a role? And where does that case stand now? We've combed through documents from lawsuits and other records, talking to Rose about all of it, as she talked oftentimes through tears.
Some days I just don't want to do. I just be wanting my babies back.
A new wrinkle we've uncovered, this letter addressed to Rose and her attorneys.
Here it is. This is dated July 19th, 2019.
Okay, thanks.
In it, state police say they want to talk to her to get more information about the fire, saying it's related to whom she commonly associates with. There's also a promise of immunity from criminal prosecution offered by Carroll County's prosecutor related to Rose's alleged illegal drug activity. That activity, Rose admits, had been smoking marijuana from time to time, including the night of the fire. Investigators did find evidence of what they call a marijuana cigarette inside her bedroom.
They thought that I was selling drugs,
They thought you were selling drugs.
Yeah.
Did they say that?
Yeah, they didn't directly say it, but it was rumors.
State police are saying, you come talk to us, it'll help the investigation. People might look at that and think you're hiding something.
I'm not hiding anything. I will talk to him. I've came to that conclusion, but it's just been no communication. But don't ask me some intrusion questions that does not have anything to do with the fire. Like,
we took that information to Indiana State Police, asking them if they still wanted to speak with Rose and if the offer of immunity still stood. The response, only that they are willing to speak with anyone who may have information. At the time the letter was written, the Carroll County prosecutor was Nicholas McClellan, who is also that county's prosecutor now. On the question of immunity, state police directed our question to his office. His office did not respond to our request. Rose's friend Kathy Clendenning says that's a theme.
This case is just a secret. Try to get some information. I dare you.
Information gathering made difficult with changes of key people handling the investigation.
We just can't find the point of origin and the ignition source.
In November 2016, the state fire marshal's office said the cause of the fire was undetermined. However, in January 2017, investigators at the Indiana Department of Homeland Security said the fire had been set intentionally.
We are investigating it as an arson.
In 2016, Flora's fire department was being run by Adam Randall, the son of Dennis Randall, a key fire investigator at the state fire marshal's office. Within a year of the fire, a new state police detective had taken over the police investigation. Dennis Randall had resigned his position at the state fire marshal's office after questions about his handling of the case.
To a certain extent, the fact they've not been solved has affected my decision.
And the Carroll County prosecutor, Robert Ives, had retired. Adam Randall had also resigned as Flora's fire chief. Adam Randall's boss, before his resignation, had been Josh Ayers, the president of the Flora Town Council and the owner and landlord of the home where Rose lived. The town's current fire chief declined to talk with us when contacted.
Do you believe the investigation began the right way, and do you believe it's still being conducted the right way?
I don't believe the investigation started the right way. I don't think they investigated it properly.
The private investigator hired by Rose and another hired by attorneys for the landlord offer differing opinions as to whether Rose had enough time to get herself and her girls to safety had a smoke alarm inside been working. Rose's investigator concludes there had been enough time. A defense investigator concludes there wasn't. And among the shuffle of pages in a separate lawsuit, documents reveal an insurance policy on the home taken out just months before the fire, worth nearly $393,000 and a home appraisal value of $45,000.
Most people would apply logic to say that there's some impropriety here.
We showed the documents to Indiana University professor of finance, Joe Fitter. He immediately pointed out the dates on each document. The insurance policy, originally written August 31st of 2016. The appraisal, dated 10 days later, September 10th. A little over 2 months later, November 21st, the home had gone up in flames.
The policy was actually written before the appraisal was conducted. A lot of times when policies are initially written, they're written based on a verbal conversation with the property owner. They're not validated beyond maybe what's in a computer system or what's online, what's available from Zillow. It's only subsequently that maybe an insurance adjuster or writer would go to the property and physically look at the property.
Up to $392,000 for a house that was appraised at $45,000.
Correct.
You're saying that's quite odd.
It's quite unusual. When an insurance policy starts to look like a lottery ticket, suspicion can be raised. Insurance fraud.
Our investigation was hindered at various points as well. We did ask state police for an interview to talk about the investigation. They declined our invitation to speak on camera and said instead that the investigation is active. We asked them for dash camera video showing the response to the fire that we absolutely know exists and has been released elsewhere. State police denied that request as well, citing the open investigation. We also reached out to Carroll County's current sheriff, who also declined our invitation to interview.
Okay, so 1 second. Let me come back for a second here. Stop screen. Whoops. I can hear my husband and my brother-in-law on there. Okay, so Again, for anyone that doesn't know about the Flora fires, that was Flora fires. Very sad case. And so most people know that have followed Delphi that there was other cases surrounding. I can hear my husband. Yeah. You guys hear him in the background there through the door. But anyways, so the Delphi case, of course, Karina McClurkin. Most of those cases were really overshadowed by the Delphi case. So this case was actually had come first in 2016. And it was really sad because it really showed you, in a lot of ways to me about why, say, Black people fight, for cases. And then we had the Carly Russell case where she faked her own disappearance, which, like that's just setting back for all the people that are in the minorities or feel like they're a minority, or feel discriminated against. And then something like this happens, right? And basically they had made some cookbooks and, to try to raise money and stuff like that for the Flora girls and, raised about 5,000 there. And, it just was a huge difference when the Delphi case came along. Again, it just overshadowed this case. And all that was ever talked about was Delphi, Delphi, Delphi. And so there are some good channels out there that always try to bring awareness to the Flora fires. Some like Meow Zendog was always one that put out a lot of information coming forward. So hopefully one day this case, will find its answers for those girls, how that fire started and who set it. Exactly, was it set because of insurance? Who knows? All I know is a mother lost her 4 beautiful daughters, and prayers and justice that one day answers come for this case. They said, no, yeah. I mean, their voices get so, like, because they're like, I don't know. I always say it. British people to me have higher pitched voices to my ear. And so my husband and his brother, because his brother has a higher pitched sound, but when they get together and they're joking around, their voices reach an octave that hurts my ears, to be honest with you. Carl, what narrative? Spill the beans. Oh, I'll tell you what he's talking about in a minute. Carl Russell didn't even get Carly Russell. No, she didn't get jail time. I think she deserved it. I think Carly Russell, not only did we not get to hear the story really, right? It was the arrogance of her. She stole from her work that night as well, right? She stole I think it was some toilet paper, a robe, some money or whatever. And then, of course, claimed that there was this child that was in the road, and she, again, just fabricated her own disappearance. My guess of all that is that Carly Russell and I think her boyfriend were broken up or something at the time. I think that it was one of those things. Okay. Women are the game players. Women are the ones that play mind games way more than men. Call a spade a spade. It is what it is. It's true. Women can multitask so much better than men. It's just proven fact, to be honest with you. But women know how to play the games. And for me, Carly Russell set in motion to me this thing that if she disappeared, somehow probably her boyfriend would be like, oh my God, I could never imagine my life without you now. I'm so glad you're okay, type of thing. Totally backfired on her. She obviously forgot that there's cameras and everything like that. But it was just disgusting watching her and then her parents justify her crap in a sense. And she walks into the courtroom. Her nose is 10 feet high up in the air. And just this arrogance. And it, because she's, shamed by the nation for what she has done. I feel like, Little Miss Princess there absolutely deserved. There's people that get jail time for something far less than what she did. She wasted valuable resources. She caused a lot of pain and grief to the family members that had no clue. and it was just disgusting. And then her own brother was, before it was found out, her own brother, of course, played the race card, which I hate that when people do that, especially when, her case was pretty much clear as day that she wasn't abducted. But I really do hate it when people play that card like it's like every single time. Not that it doesn't happen, because it does, but I hate it when that's the first card played, because he was wrong. Her story was put out very fast across the social media, and the brother was acting like, cases like this don't get no attention and stuff. So that's kind of what pissed me off there, is that he came out and played the whole racism card, discrimination thing, and yet her story was literally splattered across the internet. And then it just came to fruition that she was just a fake and full of it. And again, so, such detrimental, things that she did for her own race, in a sense, because, when people, it's like the person that cried wolf. If you cry wolf enough, no wonder that people sit there and have their thoughts. But anyways, Carly Russell, every time I see freaking Cheez-Its, I literally actually took a screenshot of Cheez-Its, because if I ever did something on Carly Russell's case, I actually have a box of Cheez-Its sitting on my counter right now. But every time I think of Cheez-Its, Carly Russell, don't forget, she had her box of Cheez-Its, because she had stopped at Walmart, picked up some food, for her little, fake abduction. Just, anyways, it's just disgusting. So I don't care what race you're from. I don't care anything. There's good and bad in every single group or person's different cultures and stuff like that. And, and it's sad because the world still can be very discriminatory, over people. I even know for me that I still, when I get, say, phone calls and stuff like that, it's like they want to know where we're out of. And I know why they're asking that question, and I just think it's really sad because, where I live, there's cultures of every different kind here. And again, it just, to me, it always is about who you are as a person that defines you to me, if you're a good person. And there's good people in every single culture, but it's just cases like Carly Russell's that are just disgusting, and she should have done jail time. Vast majority of people that follow a narrative, and JLR sets that narrative. True, someone knows how that fire started, absolutely. Someone does, 100% someone does, that person that knows. Yeah, who owns the house? You talking about that one? It was Josh Ayers. Don't forget, no, it was the Cheez-Its angel. Cheez-Its. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. A ploy to get the boyfriend back. You agree? I think so. I know. Still can't believe she went through our woods at night. I wouldn't even do that. It was crazy, right? It's weird to me to hear a YouTuber creator sets a narrative for a criminal case. Maybe I am just old. You talking about JLR? You talking about, is that what you're talking about? Unindicted? I knew she was missing before she rocked up the phone, and I'm in the UK. Yeah, that's a thing, right? Is that people forget that there's freaking nowadays, like I said, there's so many footprints, but they don't even think about the cameras because, like I said, they're too busy thinking that I'll do this, do that, but hers was, like I said, she stole from the, she got let go because she was stealing. Just a disgrace. It was, and what disgraces me again, like with Carly Russell's case, is the walk of arrogance. She couldn't even own up to her lie, right? Her lawyer spoke for her and, apology. No one gives it. That's the same thing, what we're having to deal with. And I'm not going to get in myself today. So just so you know, Carl, I know exactly what JLR video you're talking about. I watched it today. The first thing that did go through my head, however, was that today is Mother's Day. Robin Rogers is a mother. So for me personally, I just don't feel like it's appropriate for me to attack a mother or make kind of like negative comments about a mother on Mother's Day. Robin Rogers has been very vocal about the case. Now, I can talk definitely about it tomorrow, but today I just don't feel as appropriate for me to sit there and try to bash Katie, try to bash Robin Rogers, or any mother for that matter, for the cases that we're talking about. I just think that, I want Mother's Day to be about celebrating mothers, celebrating the murdered and the missing innocents, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I concur with JLR's video because what he said was the truth. And I know it because I followed the case. So, so what he actually said in his video was actually truthful. Like, it's not like it was made up. I just thought when I seen the title, I was like, oh, JLR, it's Mother's Day. Sure, but hey, you know what? So, unindebted, I love your cat photo with foil on head. Yeah, a little crown. My husband, when we were in Marshall's yesterday, he saw this little pink crown cat bed, and he's like, I like that little pink crown bed over there, but I'm not paying $35 for that piece of material. Considering our cats have enough, like we have cat homes, one that we built and one that we purchased and stuff like that. But he just saw it because it had the little crown to it. And indebted, when JLR flips, then Dolly, then etc. You'll see. I've been trying to I'm not even sure what that word is. What's that? What's that word? Acheon. Trying to Acheon F it. Is that a word? I'm too lazy to even Google that word. Ahead of it. Oh, that's what you meant. I'm trying to ahead of it. Anyways, I had watched that whole video. And the thing is about it, like I said, it's true. It's not like it wasn't. It's true. That's exactly how it's been going. Say something, take it back, or say the opposite, and flip-flopping like fish. And for me personally, when it comes to Sebastian's case, I think that they just all need to stop and make it about Sebastian. All of them. Depends where you live. Here's a Gateshead. We've had a Jewish community for years, living alongside Muslims and Christian. It's just fine, yeah. I mean, when I lived in Coquitlam, there was a bunch of Koreans that lived beside us, Mexicans across from us, Chinese, like it was townhomes and all that, and all of them very nice people, very welcoming, just very kind people and stuff like that. So like I said, I don't like that card being played unless it's like a legit card, which still does happen. So it's kind of hard, but I just hate it when that card gets used all the time. Thanks at Bogey Green Street. It looks like my cat, Big Mama. She was 21-pound rescue, slimmed down to 17 gorgeous pounds. Those are the ones that don't do their own homework and depend on him to do the work for him. Let's see here. It's a person's character that matters. That being said, I hate Richard Allen, can't stand Christopher Proudfoot and Katie. They're the same race. Katie is horrific mother. So what if I hate Peeps, my race? Okay. So again, you guys can say whatever you want in chat. But today I'm not going to speak ill will of Katie. So let's stop screen here and we'll get to Katie Proudfoot for today, for of course the mother of Sebastian Rogers. Share screen window. Okay. So I know that we all have our opinions when it comes to this case. So, at the end of the day, like I said, Katie Proudfoot, there's been nothing that's been shown that Katie Proudfoot, Christopher Proudfoot, or Seth had anything to do with the disappearance, at all, for information, besides a lot, of course, of speculation and stuff like that. So, of course, just like anyone, I'm a normal human being. I have my speculation, meaning I would think that most people would try to think of all the different angles of, what could possibly happen, right? Like, you know, at the end of the day, that we know that, you know, Sebastian Rogers was seen by Seth, you know, at Texas Roadhouse, and that he was taking the garbage out. Now, it's obviously the information comes really mostly from Katie or from Christopher Proudfoot, who's speaking, which he's done a lot of on behalf of Katie. So my thing is this, in chat here, is there anyone here that feels like Katie has nothing to do with Sebastian Rogers' disappearance? Is there anyone? Just put a 1 if you don't think that Katie had any involvement in Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. Just curious if anyone in chat. Yeah, you know, the thing is that he's, like I said, he was in here at first, you know, like kind of like demanding like drop a link type of thing. My only thing from yesterday is that he was wanting to interject too much when people were talking, because, you know, and I know that type of personality, because you have to let people speak, but he wanted to interject a lot. So again, Mike, if you're listening, that's the one thing I would work on perhaps, is that, you know, lots of times people have things that they want to offer and say and stuff like that, but you know, I just like to let people say their part there, you know, as best as we can, and not keep interjecting when somebody else is talking. That would be my thing from yesterday. And, you know, to some people, it might have come off a little bit preachy as well. And it just depends on how you took it. You know, I took it that, you know, he was a guy that, you know, nice enough guy. I'm not going to sit there and do a background check on him. If he says he was a cop and a therapist, so be it. If he's not, then so be it. You know, it's different than when I have a profiler on or something like that, and I know of their work and they have books and stuff like that, you know, or someone like, you know, Analysis of a Crime with CD, another New Yorker and stuff like that. But I just deemed him as a guest. And, you know, again, someone can pretend whoever they want to be on the internet, but you try to take people at face value, knowing that you still take everything with a grain of salt. But it wasn't one of those things where I was like, oh, here's a special guest that's on. He was just simply someone that was in chat that wanted to jump up on here. So Carl, Angel, and Unindicted, right, feel that Katie Proudfoot and had nothing to do with it. Now, you know, again, I've always said that I didn't feel like Katie and Christopher or Seth had anything to do with it. I always felt like there was genuineness in their talking, but something had to happen to Sebastian. That doesn't mean I don't think about, you know, the long phone call that happened, you know, on that same night, or if information's missing. All I really was searching for myself was a timeline, an accurate timeline to put out there, and that Ellie could take care of whatever business, or, you know, if there was ever anyone going to be charged, that was, you know, that they would figure it out. And if there's not, they would figure that out too, you know, but in hopes that we could understand, you know, what happened to Sebastian. Now, there's been a lot of information coming out. Undecided on that one. What was the question? The question was if you felt that Katie Proudfoot had anything to do with Sebastian Rogers' disappearance. And I was just wanting to ask the chat, again, you know, if anyone in here felt that way, because I know a lot of people, you know, feel the opposite way, but I also know there's, you know, a lot of people that, you know, there's not as many. I think more people believe that they had something to do with it because of the fact of, you know, obviously Katie was the last one with her son, you know, but again, it's her son. She hasn't been charged with anything, or there's nothing to show that. So, you know, to me, I if Katie Proudfoot had absolutely nothing to do with that at all, then it's a mother that is missing her child horrifically. And to me, regardless of if this is Katie or not, anyone that's put in a position like this on Mother's Day, especially, and versus every day, is the most horrific thing for anyone to ever have to go through. It's the unknowing, that part. I just don't, I don't wish that upon anyone. I think KP and CP are so similar. During the interview, kept looking at CP. Probably are. Carl, do you know him? No. Who? Christopher? Sharon, do we think the Proudfoots are involved? Oh, okay, thank you. Speculations, accusations, insults, disinformation isn't having. I disagree. I'm going to stop you right there on that one. Speculation, I think, is everyone does it. And even including yourself. I'm sorry, Angel. Again, unless you're living in a perfect world and you've done nothing wrong and you've not ever speculated on anything or made judgment about anybody, I think that would be a very inaccurate statement myself. I think speculation is fine. I think discussions are fine. It's when they become the accusations that you're literally accusing somebody of something and then have nothing to go on. Do you not think that the police don't speculate, on theories or sit in a room to speculate about JonBenet Ramsey? Of course they do, because they're trying to come up with what happened. So I think if you take the word speculation out, I would agree. Now, insults, I get it. I don't really care that I slag off, certain narcissistic personalities. I'm calling a spade a spade. So I'll disagree with you on that one, even though it's probably not the best thing to do. It's like, obviously, it's probably not the nicest thing to do, is toss back insults. There's a child missing, but some channels are making money while crucifying the parents. That part I'll agree with as well. So, and I know where your thoughts are, Angel. Well, that one too, the criminal part, is that obviously if there's an Amber Alert, it's considered a criminal investigation. That one's kind of up in the air, to be honest with you. Because you've had stations report that the LE have said it's a criminal, then, but I'll agree that I'll just use the word an investigation or whatever you want to call it. I think people are kind of split on that, because an Amber Alert would be deemed as like something criminally happened to somebody, that they were abducted, but thing is that there's nothing to show an abduction, but yet, so it really kind of contradicts, I guess, what an Amber Alert is a bit. But in saying that, there's nothing to show, hence why the LE is stumped as well, because just like we feel, a child just doesn't just disappear. But did that child leave on his own accord, perhaps with the help of somebody, or did he leave on his own accord and they just haven't found him, and he could be, no longer with us? We don't know. Or was there involvement of an adult that assisted in his disappearance? But we don't know that. So that's why, again, we can talk about the case. Like, for me, obviously we have to talk about Katie Proudfoot and Chris Proudfoot and Seth. Those are simply the parents of the case that are talking. So to me, those are important words. Now, does it mean that they're 100% truthful? No. But what else do we have to go on? I mean, Ali, we would know crap all if it wasn't for Christopher Proudfoot, Katie, or Seth being vocal, and maybe the Ali likes it, maybe they don't, probably not. But, because obviously they don't want certain information out there. I'm not alone in here. No, Carl, you're not alone. Not everyone thinks. It's just again, you guys know how I feel about Christopher Proudfoot's speaking, and how it's offended a lot of people. Now, do I feel like he was targeted unfairly at the beginning? Yes, but the thing is that his personality, his truer personality, has come shining through. So that would be his personality in general, meaning his personality in general would be feisty, kind of like sticks up for himself, doesn't take crap from people. But the really pissed off Christopher Proudfoot is exactly what you would hear, like we heard in that PI, whatever you want to call it, leaked audio of that. And where he's using curse words and that. But the thing is that, like I said, I personally find myself that it's disgusting what's going on with Sebastian's case. And I think that they all just need to stop, all of them. Seth, Robin, Katie, Christopher. Christopher mostly speaks for Katie, but she was in the background of that audio as he's using the C word and basically calling everyone a B word and stuff like that, and that I find is disgusting, because he should know by now that no matter who he's talking to, he's going to be recorded. Maybe he doesn't care, but he should care, because it's about how you're representing not only, say, the mother of Sebastian, but how you're representing Sebastian's case. And so that's like, those are just my thoughts and my opinions personally about it, just from my own standpoint. However you guys feel can be totally on you for how you think. I know you think differently. That's the official narrative. All I want to say, Sunny, is please don't get drawn into the drama. You always stuck to the facts. Well, and so I was saying this yesterday, Angel, and I don't know if you heard me. I don't get drawn into anyone's drama at all. If I cover something, it's because I want to cover it. So meaning this, say, hatred or whatever you want to call it for Christopher Proudfoot, in saying that, he won't stop, he just keeps talking. So I'm voicing my thoughts on how just despicable, disgusting that is, and how he's speaking. But I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. So I do things to the beat of my own drum and not because of anyone else. And I hope you would know that. So I don't get caught up into the drama unless I allow myself to, but I don't consider that drama, because I stay away from like the majority of all the drama out there. But if something really upsets me about a case, I'm going to talk about it because I have every right to, right? That's hence why I created a channel, so that I could talk about whatever I wanted to and nobody had to listen, right? I could just sit here and talk to nobody and still be happy, but that's the joy of having a channel. But I'm not one of those that gets on the bandwagon of stuff. I'll talk about an issue because I have a problem perhaps with that issue, and it might be totally opposite of what somebody else thinks, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm definitely not a follower, and I just do things to how I do them. Neglect of a child, especially the special needs, is just a crime, just saying. Again, I think this is like something I can more talk about tomorrow when it's not Mother's Day. Talk about, say, JLR's video that he put out, because it's not like it's not inaccurate. It is accurate, and there's proofs and posts. And I mean, it's like I said, it's accurate. What he said in that video was very accurate. I need to catch up on the PR guy interview. Oh, seen it. For a couple of minutes. Oh, okay. You're talking about Tony Mathis? Yeah. You can catch that on, Jade for Justice had played it. I think The Lab maybe is where it originated from. I don't really watch The Lab myself. There you go. Neglect. Do you stay up all night to watch your child? You talking to me? Is that towards me? I'm not sure. Let me know if that's towards me, because I never said anything about neglect. KP did something or not. It is still the Mother's Day, and she is a mother. It's still Mother's Day, and she is a mother. Yes. I can't decipher who is making money, but I am hoping I'm watching people who care and are giving true info. I observe words and behavior. I'm not an expert, but I also know the last person and closest person are. Right. And bottom line is, I guess it's about the money. I want to talk about that just for a second. So obviously there's YouTubers who create thumbnails or create drama, and people love drama. Okay. People love drama. It's where the bucks are. Okay. When it comes to YouTube, that's like in certain areas of YouTube, that's just where the dollars are. And people will play off you just for that reason. And all the sapsuckers that want to follow that, go right ahead. It's your choice and your call. Maybe you're not observant to that, but it's clear to a creator where genuineness comes from and where people are the drama channels. Drama drives in revenue and it drives in people. It's that simple. It's no different than the national brands putting their cereal on the middle shelf, because when someone goes shopping, it's right there at eyesight. So you see it first, and you have to look below to see the no-name brands and the cheaper brands. Okay. Same thing on YouTube. When you put a thumbnail up that has a certain title to it, it's going to draw people into it because they know how to use their skills, whatever their titles, to draw you in, because it's not because it's always in the way of deception. It's just one of those things. If you want to create an audience and build your channel, like you have to do to build brands and stuff in real life, people have to do things to create a difference. So remember that one chick that's in true crime that puts a freaking tinfoil hat on her head and with little, beanie things or little like Beelzebub things like alien spaceship, obviously it's somebody that's doing something to create their own presence. At the end of the day, it's honestly none of my business what another creator does, but I can not respect you or respect you. But that's only about me, my choices, right? So I don't like cons, fakes, whatever, for the most part. But I'm also a realist as well. And again, as you grow as a person, you come to realize that, look, sometimes you just want information, okay, about certain stuff. And that some channels gather some information. So there's a lot of channels with Sebastian's case I never even heard of, and there's some of them I'll never watch again, besides unless there's some information that I would like to learn in regards to Sebastian's case. Am I going to watch it just because it's filled with drama and shit that I've already heard again? Absolutely not. We don't even know a crime was committed. You are making plenty of accusations for sure. Carl. You better bite your tongue. Well, accusations? No. If you're talking to me, you better change that word to speculation. Okay? Speculation. So Carl. Like I told you, you can say things without being offensive. And if you offend me, I'm going to kick your butt to the door. If you piss me off enough, I'm just going to say that out loud, because don't tell me I'm doing something if I don't feel like I'm doing it. I've never accused Katie or Christopher or Seth with having involvement. Is there speculation about what could possibly have happened? Absolutely. And so you are not here, in a sense, to judge me, and I'm not sitting here trying to judge you. It's all deemed to me about how things are said, and keep it respectful. That's the bottom line. That's all I'm asking. Have your opinion, but if you come at me with something that ticks me off because you're accusing me of something, then of course I'm going to get upset about that because I don't like to be accused of stuff that's not true. You know, I've already went over you guys with the Delphi case. You know, I learned my lesson from accusing somebody coming into it, you know, and again, amongst the other 90, every other channel, but I took my accountability, realizing the damage you can do to somebody. Now, Christopher Proudfoot, his mouth is what's getting him in trouble. That is fact. That is not like it's untrue. You know, people are maybe disliking stuff because he told people to F off, even if it was meant in a way. It's still, you don't kind of speak like that out loud, right? You know, people get frustrated, and simple as that. No one's perfect. Nobody. Not one person in here is perfect, including myself. I think that it's fact. Police always look at the last. Of course they do. The first thing they look at is family. That's the first thing they do. We've heard that enough by police officers. Speculation around the light, which door he left, where he could have gone and with somebody. Well, we can speculate more, too, about the phone call. We can speculate about the different things. We can speculate about whatever we want because we all have the right to talk about whatever we want. If someone wants to feel like Katie and Chris had something involvement in the case, that is their prerogative. That is their prerogative. Again, don't care about the different opinions. It's fine. They can be different. Nobody has to follow somebody else's guidelines, is all I'm saying. So I don't want anybody preaching to me about it. I'm not going to preach to you about it, but I'm going to preach to people about saying things in the context of being nice when you say something. Maybe R&R and SR assisted. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe, see? Is that accusation or is that speculation? I also think CP wants people to think Sebastian was not smart as maybe he was. I think he wants people think Sebastian was not as smart, but I don't know. I mean, multiple times he has said that, like they have many times all said that Sebastian was a smart boy. Carl. You know what, Carl? Last warning, and I mean it. Other than that, if you keep saying stuff like that, okay, please do not come back to this channel. If you're going to keep saying stuff like that, you insulted Melissa yesterday with telling her her judgment was clouded and stuff like that. Who are you to tell me that my judgment is clouded? Sonny, I think possibly your judgment might be a little bit clouded. There, but you're saying, there you go, just like I said, your judgment is clouded. Can you see possibly why I might take offense to that? Because you're telling me how I feel and how I think. How would you like it, Carl, if I told you how to think and behave, how to walk, when to open up your mouth? Hi, honey. Do you need me? Okay. Okay, Carl? I mean, the thing is that you're like a bit of a gnat underneath somebody's skin, right? You say things that are actually quite ignorant to read. They're not coming across as sensitive. You're coming across like you're a know-it-all, okay? But you're not going to, I mean, like I said, if I sound upset, well, I'm not upset really, because I literally would actually have to fully care. So if you never come visit this channel again, I literally would not care because you don't have that type of impact on my life. But if you do want to come to the channel, just speak with some kindness when you're asking or saying something. Right, Bogey? Right. What do you know, Carl? Okay, where can I hear that recording? I have yet to hear it. Gaming, are you talking? Okay, only because I know I'm behind in chat. Are you talking about the Tony Mathis one? I do think KP had assistance. That's CP's reaction, and we don't know what's happening, that we don't know about, that we don't know what's happening. No, again, people can preach all they want, But that's your own personal opinions. Making judgment based on actions we see do not mean our judgment is clouded at Carl Ferguson. In fact, that CP had said and done things he has on YouTube. Absolutely. If it comes out of your mouth and you're on an interview, and you're saying derogatory things, that is fact. That is not fiction. He's talking about me on there. Katie rocking and blowing out air of her mouth to me over the top is fake on there. It's the whole case is strange, to be honest with you. All of it. Thank you. Murder. I like your name, Murder Candy. It's a cool name, actually. I like it. And I like your avatar, too. I'm not caffeinated enough for chat. Bogey. Oh, okay. Bogey. Well, Angel, you know that me and you, like I said, we might see things on opposite sides of the fence, and you understand that we each have our own opinions. Especially big and controlling. Right, absolutely. Hi, Sharon Parker. SR sounds himself without clowns. Okay, no, wasn't a comment for above. I don't think she's, yeah, well, I don't know. All I know, like I said, things can be said in a nice, respectful way. But, all of my life, like I said, trying to be controlled by abusers and stuff like that. Do you understand my resistance a little bit to that, Carl? When somebody tries to think for me, nobody needs to think for me. If someone offers up information that adds to information and stuff like that, or has, good questions and stuff like that, like I said, just try to keep things in a positive light, even if you disagree with people. When it comes to they were innocent, my continence, is that continence, will be fine. Please, a Carl, stop the snipping. Yeah, that's what I would call it. Like snipping. Snippy. I hope Sebastian is found soon as well. It's aimed at chat. Okay. Speculation. Thank you. Meta Mom Christy, thank you for subscribing. I do not like the way CP has handled himself, but him the most in general, after seeing everything going on, how all of them, I wish that they would just stop. I wish that they, again, just stop the snickering comments between each other. I think we've heard a mouthful of information. Again, if you guys haven't seen JLR's video today, what he says is truthful, about really who propagated a lot of the information regarding Christopher Proudfoot, which was Robin. She was in here, chat, and she did the same thing. Now, I don't blame her for being upset, especially considering if you don't like somebody. And she didn't obviously like Christopher Proudfoot. He rubbed her the wrong way. But you can't tell people a bunch of information and then tell people to shut up and make it about Sebastian. It's very hypocritical. And at the end of the day, right, it's like if something is said by Christopher, post is made, right? Just take the higher road, leave it alone. Because when it's like that's what it feels like, just ding, 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 ding. And it's just like, come on, people, be adults, act like it. Inability to know when to shop. But hey, Proudfoot passed TBI Poly. SR failed, then passed the Poly, not given by TBI. Yeah, but let's I like to be fair about this, So first of all, we had only heard, though, in all fairness, Carl, that Gray Pubes, okay, is the one that said that he had spoke to Gray Hughes or that to Christopher and said that he passed it. No official has come out about it. Yes, Seth took the first test, and whatever, inconclusive. And then he takes it again or whatever, because whatever. So like, just be fair. I'm looking at both sides here. Okay. It has to be fair to Chris and be fair to Seth. Now, Nancy Grace is the one that said, that Seth passed it and she had the polygrapher or whatever come on and stuff like that. And yet we've heard that Katie passed it. But has this at all been said by TBI, Sumner County? No, because they're not going to tell us that. At the end of the day, did they pass? Well, the more likely one I'm actually to believe is Nancy Grace, because the guy that gave him the test, he passed. But again, polygraph tests there's a reason why they're not in court. And at the end of the day, who played the games, Carl? Was it Seth that played games with his polygraph test? Or was it Christopher Proudfoot who claimed that he took a polygraph test? He answered it that way. And then he tries to manipulate that and say, well, I didn't say who took it. So who's been the one that said he would take Nancy Grace's, just name the time and the place? So you have to remember all parts of it, not just parts of it, right? And that's my thing, is that I see what Christopher Proudfoot is saying, but I also can look at what he's saying, still remove myself from that maybe the ignorant stuff that he said, and still look at the underlying issue of, did Katie and Christopher or Seth have anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance? Who knows? There's nothing to prove it. Doesn't mean it's not possible and they just haven't come across anything at this point. It's still possible. Well, maybe not. I mean, like I said, we did hear that Christopher Proudfoot, through a source that worked for the company that he's working for, said that he was there at 5:15, according to the PI person, that Seth was obviously at work, got off work at 7:00, drove to Katie's and stuff like that, and we also know that Katie was at home with Sebastian. So, and I think for the most part, we can put the alibis to rest, just thinking logically and sensically. Sonny Carl might be addressing someone else. No, he's addressing me. Chorus is warming up. Na, 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 na. It's taking to me. I sit here and take it, and Angel seems to understand what I'm saying. Well, of course, Angel understands what you're saying, because you guys think the same way. So of course, it's no different than Christopher Proudfoot and Gray Hughes. It's two peas in a pod. You guys have very similar thinking about this case. So of course she's going to understand what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with that. Because again, everyone's entitled to think what they want. We just don't tell people how they should be thinking. Green Street, I also initially thought the 3-hour. Hey, it's not a 3-hour phone call. Please stop saying it was a 3-hour phone call. It was a 2-hour and 15-minute phone call at the length, the maximum, right? Well, hold on. We can't call it a 3-hour because we've never heard 3-hour. The only people that keep seeing 3-hour are the people that keep thinking it's longer than it was. Christopher Proudfoot, again, we have to go by that information because that's the best information we have. 9:43, 9:46. He said between then is when he couldn't remember if it was 9:43, 9:46. And he said till close to 12. Okay. That is just over 2 hours long, not 3 hours. Everyone wants to, instead of rounding it down, they round it like 45 minutes later. I'm talking about the CP cursing the lady out recording. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you can hear it on a lot of channels, really. J for Justice, JLR, The Lab, Dolly Vision, um, Crime Sleuthin'. Probably the easiest one to probably hear it on is Crime Sleuthin', because she kind of just gets right into it and plays it. I already read that one. And you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to have to scroll down because I am like so far behind. You can mix the truth with lies. You can learn how to breathe, to react, military trainings, etc. Self-control, pass a poly, other than drinking. Yeah, you know. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, yeah, okay. I appreciate that they took polygraph tests, but by the same token, again, Christopher Proudfoot lied and said that he had taken one, and then he played head games, you know, and I've literally, legitly said this to him, you know. I'll explain that one probably a bit more tomorrow. Gave me soothing. I just can't send it to you first, and feminine it for me. Feminine. All you have to do is hit block. If you don't want to listen or see someone's comments, just hit block. That's all you need to do. Just block. Okay, that goes for anybody, right? Sometimes there's people that like I said, bother people. And that's what I do. If I'm in a chat and I can't stand somebody, I just block them because I don't want to see their name. I don't want to see their comment. That's what I do. You can block whoever you want besides me. Yes, there's TBI's newsroom website. Sebastian, be right back. Have to run to the neighbors to switch out the laundry. Sounds like a motherly day thing to do. I'm just, let's see. How would I just say? I would imagine that 2 months of not knowing where your child is would cloud anyone's judgment. Ellie needs to come out and say something. The family, but it would really truly be nice. Kind of like in Delphi. If Ellie, would just say, look, these people are cleared. I loved it when they did that in the Idaho case, if you remember. So if you guys remember, so again, in the Idaho case, everyone was accusing Jack of having something to do with the murders of the Idaho 4. There was a couple people that were being accused. I actually had no clue. I wasn't accusing anyone, nor did I know anybody's name to accuse, but I knew better from Delphi. Then they came out, Ellie came out and said that those people have been cleared. Basically, stop accusing them. They've done nothing, and we've cleared them. That was perfect, what they did there, But I think with Sebastian's case, and it just depends on how each area does things. I wish Grady. No, I'm not dropping a link tonight. Tonight's my night. Sorry, Mike. Not dropping a link tonight. I'm just doing the live really myself. I'm probably going to be on here just a little bit longer. So sorry, but yeah. So with each state doing their own different things or whatever, counties, I wish that they would do that on a regular basis with people. If they know that they have no involvement in a case and they can stop any sort of targeting to put it to rest, you know, because people, they don't believe nothing unless they hear it, usually from Ellie's mouth. Typically they'll sit there and they'll spread all this misinformation and blame people and accuse people, you know, but you know, they never seem to believe anything. And even sometimes when Ellie says it, they still don't believe it, but whatever. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, I'm just doing a solo tonight type of thing, unless Charmaine wanted to come up earlier. But in saying that, I don't know in Sebastian's case that they can yet. And yes, that is what they should do, unsolved mystery. And the reason why I feel, okay, my feelings is because they don't know where the hell Sebastian is or who didn't do anything or who did what. With Sebastian case, they don't know. There's no evidence at this moment pointing towards Katie or Christopher or Seth, you know. So there's nothing to show that there's any wrongdoing. And they've said that they've been cooperative. Okay, I got to yawn. These yawns are getting to me now. Did somebody yawn and I seen it? Okay. Actually, one sec, guys. Good night, half pint.
Water, but ain't no ice. I just use the last 2 cubes.
Okay, it doesn't have to be ice then. Thank you, Annie. Okay, one sec. Okay. Okay, so have a happy Mother's Day, half pint. Thank you so much for joining again. To all the mothers out there, hope you guys had a wonderful Mother's Day. Again, if you're just in the chat now, and you want to say where you live, how many children you have, and what your favorite flower is, feel free to put that in the chat on there. I just don't think in Sebastian's case that they can do that because they have no clue where Sebastian is. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay. It's so hot in here. Sometimes good old water and ice, but there's no ice because husband used the last, of course. But anyways, yeah, they literally don't have a clue to me at all. They don't. They simply do not have a clue about Sebastian or where he is. Nobody that we know of seems to have a clue. But this is again where it goes back to, right? Is that Sebastian was last at home with Katie. So, of course, Katie is the one that holds whatever information. But if Sebastian left on his own accord, then she has no further information than what she is given, right? But of course she's going to be looked at, but she has been looked at. Of course she's been looked at. Christopher Proudfoot's been looked at, but if he has an alibi, but that doesn't mean that something can't happen, right? So where is Sebastian? So if someone wants to speculate that during that 2-hour and 15-minute phone call that they were talking about Sebastian, well, someone can speculate that. Doesn't make it true. It's just a speculation. At the end of the day, nobody knows that we know of where Sebastian is. But there's obviously a reason why or if Sebastian left or was aided, right? And that's the information. A lot of the information coming out is showing that there's, perhaps Sebastian did want out of there. Perhaps he did. We don't know. But the information that's coming out is not through TBI. Most of the information coming out is either because sleuths dig deep or because it's coming out between Seth's mouth and Christopher Proudfoot and Katie's mouth, but mostly Christopher Proudfoot and Seth and Robin. Most of that information is coming out from the family members. Of course our sleuths are going to dive and deep dive and dig. Right? That's just natural. That's going to happen. There's no stopping that. That's going to happen. but just hopefully people use the information wisely and at least accurately when they're going to put out the information, and not just put out information that could really hurt someone when it's not true at all. So I like to talk about things that are obviously factual. I like to show news clips, but I also do have my own speculations about things, and I'm just tossing out thoughts. And I have a right to do that. And if I actually want to accuse someone, I have the right to do that too. Is that perhaps the wrong thing to do? Absolutely. If there's nothing to show that somebody didn't do anything and you're accusing them of doing something, obviously, that's not right. But can you speculate that this could have happened or that could have happened? Yes, as long as it's not the actual accusation. That's how I feel. It might not be how you feel. That's how I feel about it. As mind shock, yeah, I know mind shock. The only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. But I add, until we know for sure. Right. And in this case, we don't know nothing for sure at all. I mean, it is very sad that everything is back to square one. Do you have an animal? If you have an animal, Bogey, that counts too. If you have an animal, those are our children too. Do like checking in before going to bed, but he was 15. I would be a wreck of all things that could have happened. Absolutely. I myself will disagree with that statement. I myself will disagree with that statement. The reason why? Now, if a child runs away, for instance, and they were brought up in a good home, I'm not just speaking about Sebastian's, So, for instance, for me, if my son had run away from home, which he didn't, but if he did, knowing full well that I gave all my love, have given all my love to my son, all the care in the world, protected him like no other. My son has been my everything to me. I might not be his everything, sadly, because he's young, bit dumb, obviously, doesn't understand the world yet, whatever. But if he chose to run away because he, in his own head, had whatever thoughts he wanted, like I said, you can be the perfect parent and your child might think that you're the worst parent. It doesn't matter. But could I stop him from leaving the house at night if I'm sleeping? Absolutely not. What am I supposed to do? So that's not a fair statement at all to me, right? It's not a fair statement. Now, so if Sebastian perhaps left because he was in an abusive home and stuff like that, and the parent didn't do anything about it or contributed to it and stuff like that, in a sense, should there be some possible blame there? Maybe. Well, you can maybe accuse them of not being the best parents and stuff like that, but nobody grows up in this always perfect home. But are you going to blame every parent for every child that runs away and is disappeared or whatever? Or a child that is snatched out of a window because some pedophile knew that child was there? You can't blame someone for it. Now, let's take the McCann case, right? Madeleine McCann. Let's take that case. Do I hold the parents responsible? Absolutely, yes, I do. That was just pure, basically going out to have dinner and actually leaving your home, leaving the apartment thing that they were in so that they could go have dinner. Never in my life would you ever catch me doing that with my child. Never. That is so wrong on all levels as a parent. I don't give a shit. The furthest I would be away from my son is in the backyard or the front yard. Never would I be at somebody else's home, even if it was outside and just a couple doors down, and leave my child by himself. Absolutely not. So do I think that there was neglectfulness on the part and absolutely of the Madeline McCann? Absolutely. That could have been prevented. So there's a difference there to me. Absolutely. Yeah. But without us knowing the true circumstances of Sebastian, how can I possibly blame Katie with only knowing tidbits of information that we've heard from Christopher, but we don't know the full truth of it. But could she have prevented Sebastian from leaving the home that night if he felt that he didn't want to live there? No. Did the situation contribute to him leaving? Yes. Does that make her the most pathetic mom in the world? No. Right? It's because there's tons of situations where mothers and fathers are together and they fight like dogs all the time, swear and curse at each other. Doesn't mean every child leaves the home and runs away. But we don't know the full story about Sebastian. So I can't condemn Katie for something that we don't know for sure what happened, But she had no way. If he left himself on his own accord, she had no way of stopping him while she's sleeping. So that's why that statement would be false to me. Right. Back when I was younger, you absolutely could roam, and the population was hugely different as well. The internet has brought on a lot more pedos, a lot more accessibility to people and children in general. You never leave your kids alone in a foreign country. That should be common sense. Absolutely. You should never leave. You should never, ever leave your children alone. You should go no further than the backyard or front yard. Anything past that to me is absolutely wrong, because I was there as my son was growing up to protect my child. And I did that at all costs. Why? Again, it's because some of it would obviously be contributed to what happened to me and my sisters and brother as a young child, right? Because again, we could have been killed. My older sister was RAPED because of what is known as the paper bag, RAPIST, who's still in jail because he knows he'll commit. He committed multiple crimes for decades. That's why I was very protective of that. But just in general, so whatever contributed to me, my job as a mother is to protect my child, our children. That's my job. But does that mean that I can stop everything from happening? Of course not. When I took Matthew camping with my twin sister, and me and my ex-husband and my twin sister and her kids and whatever, okay, I'm always watching my son. He literally we're camping, right? So consider the little brown gravel road is the little park right there, 20 feet from us. I turned my back for a minute, and Paige, who's the older of the nieces, my niece, and Haley, they're all together playing on the slide. One of those little slides that is probably about 4 feet off the ground, 5 feet. Well, in the blink of an eye, my son looks over the slide, and I didn't see it. I was just told what happened. So I turned my back. I'm watching him. I turn my back. My kid decides to look over the slide, falls out of it, and he fractures his arm. So for 4 to 6 weeks, he has to wear, not a cast. It was a hairline, a green line fracture, green line hair fracture, I think they called it. Could I have prevented that? Honestly, no. I mean, really? Was I supposed to stand right beside him? He's 5 years old, 4 foot slide. He's with his older nieces and nephews. You know, could I have prevented that? No. Did I feel shitty? Yeah, within 5 minutes of camping, that's what happened. Hi, Ann. Sunny, if you, Ellie, at this stage and the game was angled, do you think you'd be following? Walked away, met up with some perp who groomed him, do another ground search, just wait for a good tip? I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to have to read this again. Sunny, if you, Ellie, at this stage of the game, what angle do you think you'd be following? Walked away. Oh, okay. Met up with some perp who groomed him. Do another ground search. At this stage of the game, for a while now, I felt like if he got, so at first I'd say was thinking he walked away. Okay. I feel like an adult has contributed to the aiding of hiding Sebastian. That's where my head is at the moment, because after all this time, they haven't found him. But don't forget, you guys, there's a case, and I can't think of the name of it, that they just found her recently, that they did searches all in the area of where she went missing. And they found her this year close, like so close to where she was missing. And they missed her the entire time. So I can't seem to forget things like that. I can't seem to forget nickel bully cases, or this case that I can't remember the girl's name that was just recently found. And they found her very close to where she disappeared. So if I'm going to think that he's alive, it's going to be that another person has assisted in his disappearance. And that's why I say, could it be Katie? Maybe, possibly. Who knows? We don't know the story. Could it be a teacher? Perhaps. We don't know. So again, speculation. Could it be? Possibly. But we don't know. You know? So where are you guys at with Sebastian Rogers? Alive? Dead? That he's being hidden somewhere? You know? That you think the Proudfoots are involved in it? Where do you think he's, like I said, walked away on his own accord? Whichever one you think, where are you guys at in your heads with this case? So back at you, Ann Vroom. We don't know the full story of SR. But I can tell you one thing. As a human being and a parent, no parent is going to search and come out there like Seth has if he had anything to do with his son's disappearance. Now, do we fully know everything about Seth? No, we don't. Unless someone wants to talk to the family, the neighbors, this and that, and da-da-da-da. But from a visual perspective and what he's been doing, that's exactly what a parent should be doing. Fighting for people to search and help look for the son. I don't blame his sister for starting a GoFundMe to help Seth with financial things. It would have been nice if it would have been a GoFundMe for all of them, you know, with Sebastian Rogers' case. But we've seen two different things going on here, you know, and it is what it is. It's not our doing, right? It's not our doing what has happened, what transpired. It's their doing. They're the ones that couldn't work things out. They're the ones that couldn't work together. It had nothing to do with us. That was all navigated by them, not us. That's why what JLR, his video on Robin Rogers and stuff like that, like it's not like it's not true. It's true. I've said this already on lives. We didn't separate them. They separated themselves. You know, Robin Rogers was the one that was constantly talking ill will of Christopher Proudfoot. For good reason? Maybe not. Who knows? But, I mean, what we've seen of Christopher Proudfoot, was perhaps she so wrong in making those comments? Well, again, airing out all the laundry to the world, hey, selfishly, whatever, YOLO, thank you for the information. But should honestly that really probably happen? No, because it's about Sebastian and trying to, just trying to understand the timeline. And that's where Katie could have truly helped out if she just would have spoke up for herself. That's all I look for is the timeline. That's all I actually want the accuracy for is the timeline. I want to know the exact details of the timeline. When did Katie drop off the niece? I can't think of her name at the moment. When did she drop her off at home? I just want to have an accurate timeline. And then after that, what more can we do besides keep Sebastian Rogers' case alive? An accurate timeline with the information, right? To understand exactly every bit of moment of that day. And looking for hopefully the truthfulness of that timeline. Can we force Katie to do that? No. But it would be nice if they could just have an actual timeline. When did Sebastian take out that garbage, right? Then we can all have a clear picture of truly when this child would have left. Did he leave before 12 o'clock while Katie was in the living room? There are some questions I would still like to ask, to be honest with you. But again, we can only hope that the truth is given about the timeline. But the only truth that we know, in a sense, is what Katie or Christopher through Katie, and Katie is the one with the answers to all that. Nobody else. Katie is the one with 90% of the answers to the timeline, the exact timeline. Sunny, agree about possibly being picked up by an adult, but if a prearranged meeting sure seems like that perp's vehicle would have, right. Well, that's just it, Anne. And I like I said, I think of these things, right? That's what I was even talking about, I think, yesterday. So I think when Mike was on and stuff, we were talking about this. Like, that's why it's so confusing. Because if it was an adult, like if somebody had something to do with Sebastian's disappearance outside of his family, right? In a sense, like meaning outside of that, even including Katie's car, at what point? Because they would have had daytime camera footage or nighttime camera footage of something, of a vehicle, because it's not like, yeah, it's dark and Sebastian's wearing black. So unless that vehicle is traveling down the road, with no lights on and whatever, like there's multiple neighborhoods. They would have looked, I would have think that they would have looked at every camera footage around a huge vicinity, I would like to have thought, right? To deem if any cars were suspiciously or had gone into that neighborhood. So I'm telling you, they have nothing to go on. That's exactly what they're portraying. That's exactly basically what they have said. So what happened to Sebastian? He didn't disappear. So either he was in a car that left a garage of the home, right? He left on his own accord and he missed all the cameras, or there's just something missing. But that's just the bottom line. If they don't have anything to show any suspicious vehicle or whatever, where does that leave you? Where? Because he didn't zoom up in a freaking UFO, So he didn't fly off on a magic carpet ride. So he either left the home through a vehicle, through the garage, or he was wearing black and somehow missed any camera. Like, those are the most logical possibilities, because you would think that if there was a mysterious vehicle, like I know, so I understand more now probably than I did at first why people were talking about the Bower socks, and that somehow perhaps Katie dropped, gave him over to the Bower socks, and they took him off and stuff like that. So I get where that storyline is coming from, and then there's people saying that the Bower socks' mom was at the school and stuff like that. Again, show me facts. Show me facts that that's true, right? So, I mean, you would think that if Katie's car left, well, they would know this. And if they said that there's no suspicious to the family, so the only time that you would think that this would have been possible then would be during the morning when Katie left the house. That's the only time to me that would seem logical if that is even the case. So what happened to Sebastian? Right? Because even Katie, if she's driving, there's going to be cameras that you would think would catch Sebastian in the car, unless, of course, he's huddled in the trunk or back seat and with a blanket over him or something. You know? Something happened to Sebastian. Holy Green Street, yes, that's what they initially did in the New York a few months ago when that young girl got snatched. Oh, yeah, at the campsite? Yeah. The government had National Guard out working at lead of local LE from the get-go. It's just a very mysterious case, but yet something happened to Sebastian. So meaning it's mysterious to us now, but hopefully when an answer comes, it won't be so mysterious, obviously. How possible would it be Sebastian ran away, called CP and CP, I think he meant KP, encountered Sebastian on his way home? I imagine CP would lose his temper if he was to catch up with Sebastian. Katie called CP. Nah, he didn't leave home. Christopher Proudfoot didn't get home till 1:30 in the afternoon that day. Like on the Monday, he didn't leave work right away because he just couldn't, he said. Because he's up in a crane 200 feet in the air, he said. So he didn't get home till like 1:30. And that's according to Christopher Proudfoot. Heard about these drones. Nobody else. Who's cashing in on this? Don't know. Looking at this in Summer Wells' case, I wonder about TN, child disappearance procedures. I get ya. Yeah, it's just something happened. These drones can spot the tiniest garment from far away. Yeah. I remember SF Investigates had them. If he's in the woods, infrared only works if there's a body heat released, right? Yeah. Like I said, he could have disappeared and hurt himself. All those things. That's kind of like the Nicola Bully case. Everything that should have went right went wrong, and it could be the case here, to be honest with you. Don't know. What was it that I was watching where they were talking about like Katie giving him his medication and overdosing him? Something like that. Where did I see that recently? It wasn't like it was it wasn't like it was like a channel. It was I can't remember. I just remember it was like, like what I would deem as a more respectable channel, and just giving, thoughts of what could have happened. Show me the facts. I don't need to show you. Ask him to personally send you his certificates. I don't need to show you. Like I said, to me, he was just a guest on the show. If he wants to say he's a cop and he whatever isn't, then that's up to him. But I'm there to give you the facts. Get your own facts. You might find a Google Flora thermal vision. Yeah. It's kind of like Nicola Bully's case, though. From the United Kingdom. Couldn't find her with the drone. No, I don't need, like I said, I don't need to. If someone is just deemed as a guest, in a sense, I'm not going to sit there and vet every person. I could care less. I could care less if they're just a guest. If you're suspicious, then go look them up. you know, like, to me, he was just a guest on the show, whether he was a police officer, a therapist, or not, you know. I feel he's close to home and just sneaked out to play. He didn't sleep well. Yeah, but it's been 2.5 months, Angel. So you think that he's off somewhere dead then? Yeah. I'm sorry, but my mom gut says something isn't right with CP. I know he has an alibi, but there's just something. Well, at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of speculation, but there's nothing, it's easy to look at what we think might have happened, perhaps, based on the information that's been coming out. And if Sebastian lived in a home that he didn't want to be in. But there's that part of me too, and this is where we don't know as well. Like, if Sebastian did leave the home, himself, why wouldn't he contact his dad if his dad and him were so close? Do you think that, Sebastian and Seth were as close as what Seth is portraying out there? We don't know the truth. We're just going by our gut feelings for that. And if Sebastian didn't leave home and someone helped him, what was the reason? Like, this is what I don't understand. Is that why would Christopher Proudfoot, so he comes, like, you guys know, right? If he comes off like he overly doesn't seem to care a lot about Sebastian, right? That's the way it comes across, and stuff like that, even though he's saying otherwise. But, like I said, he said a lot of stuff. But if there's one thing I think that's clear is that I don't know that Sebastian's so much like Christopher, just based on personal opinion. But why would Christopher have anything to do and get his parents involved in the disappearance of Sebastian? Like, it seems like a bit far to go to remove someone out of your life if they're an inconvenience. Like, why would you do that? So I could see something speculative, of course. I could see some planning if someone perhaps didn't want their child to go live with their dad, but Katie could have just said no, right? Katie could have just clearly said no, But if hers and Christopher Proudfoot's relationship has gone south, and the main person of why it's going south perhaps is Sebastian, I could see where maybe, like, it just seems so extreme that a mother and stepdad would go out of their way to hide a child with somebody else so that they could live happily ever after without the inconvenience of Sebastian. That just seems like this would have to happen and this would happen to happen and nobody would speak and this and this and this, right? Could it possibly happen? Yeah. But it just seems like when something gets too far-fetched, then it doesn't make sense to me, No, Carl, I don't. It's my channel and I can do what I want. That's the beauty of it. I don't have to vet anybody if I don't want to, Again, I'm not going to sit here and distrust everyone. If someone is preaching, but he was preachy, yeah, a bit, but it's not like it mattered, like, it's not like it was I had a guest coming on. I'm gonna ignore that question because you can go vet him. It's my channel. Yes, exactly. Just remember that. So I can do whatever I want. If somebody is deemed as a guest and not as a special guest, that like, Alexa, have I ever asked Alexa for her profiler certificates? No. She's more than offered to send them to me and stuff like that, but I don't see the need. Alexa's not going to sit there and bullshit me, And so when I trust somebody, now I don't know Mike Worth Adam, but again, he just came on as a guest. It wasn't like I was claiming like, ex-cop joins panel, talks about this. Did I vet Dr. Ken, who homicide? Well, he has books, talking about him being a detective and stuff like that. He has like 3 books, like I said, I get if you're suspicious, but that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. If it was something that was detrimental to the live stream and that, then that's a different story. I know he doesn't. I feel like that Mike yesterday probably, I could tell, right? Because no offense, Mike, if you're listening, but I mean, a spade is a spade. Mike did a lot of talking, a lot of preaching in a sense. He wasn't doing it to be hurtful or annoying, but some people I could tell felt that way. My part is that when someone's speaking, let them talk and stop interjecting. So he interjected a lot, but that's something he could possibly learn from if he watches back the replay on that. But do I think that he was, this hurtful person that was trying to hurt anyone? No. He wasn't ignorant. He wasn't mean. He just spoke a lot. But I think the intentions were good-hearted. Yeah. So if you have an issue with him, like I said, it's a you thing, not a me thing. Certainly, if I was Ellie whiteboarding possible motives, I could come up with a couple of plausible ones to put in the CKKP column, but that's all it'd be, brainstorming. Actually, same, yeah, pretty much. There you go, Carl. Sound like CP. A lot of people thought you were CP yesterday. Thing is that I've seen you before in here, so I know that. I hate wearing shoes, but I have to wear them when I go out. Shoes weren't worn in Sebastian home. Chance he sneaked out to play. Freedom from. It's just none of it makes sense. None of it. We'll talk about it tomorrow again. And then we'll talk about Robin Rogers, Seth Rogers, the whole JLR thing and stuff like that. Yeah, we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. Today, I just want to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. To whether it's fur babies or real babies or whatever, and commemorate, Suzanne Morphew today, Gaylin Rose, and of course, Katie Proudfoot for the Mother's Day today. And Carl needs a photo on his profile. Yeah, Carl. Who's the real you, Carl? I know you didn't, Jenny. Yeah. Well, hopefully Mike will take maybe a little bit of heed to that on there. I felt like he was, definitely, like I said, over talking the ladies and stuff like that. But there was no harm meant by it. So again, not everybody likes everybody on the show and stuff like that, but I don't think that there was no ill will type in. He just might have annoyed some people, which I could tell in chat. Happy Mother's Day, Sunny. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you guys so much. You guys, it's almost close to 10. My husband's gonna want to turn in for bed here. I have to work, and tomorrow's Monday. We'll talk about Sebastian again tomorrow night, and we'll get into Seth Rogers and Robin Rogers, and Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot and Sebastian again. I just didn't really want to overstep it today, considering it was he was mansplaining. Are you going to bed? I'm going to go to bed too. Happy Mother's Day, Katie included. Can't wait to see what expert Mike is tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day, ladies. Good night, everybody. Okay, yes. Bless you guys again. Justice for Suzanne Morphew, justice for the Flora girls, and prayers that Sebastian is, out there and he's still alive somewhere. So you guys take care. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow night. All right, guys? Gotta find the outro.